Hei ihmiset ja tervetuloa nykypäivän video.
Congratulations everybody! You just learned how to say hello people and welcome to today's video in Finnish! Yay! I actually do not speak Finnish, so thank you Google Translator. But I will try to finish this video as soon as possible. Ha 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 ha. Okay, bad joke. Moving on to today's topic. Today I'm going to talk about, as briefly as possible, the benefits of waiting to have sex. Yes, everybody, sex. I said it. Okay. Let's get the obvious out of the way first. If you don't have sex, you can't get STDs or pregnant. Everybody knows that, but I'm just gonna say things some people might not know. A lot of STDs don't have symptoms, so a guy can give you one and you might not know you have it. And the problem with that is that you could become so infected that you become infertile and can't have babies in the future. Or when you do get pregnant, you can give your STD to your child, and that's kind of cruddy. Next thing, if you don't have sex, you don't have to worry about birth control. I know so many of my friends are like, oh, I keep forgetting to take the pill at the right time of day, and it's just annoying to have to remember to take them at the right time, and sometimes it messes up your period flow, and you just spot at random times, and it's annoying because you have to keep buying new underwear. So, moving on to some of the emotional reasons. If you don't have sex, you don't form that emotional and physical bond with somebody else. Especially for girls, sex is very personal, intimate, and when you have sex with somebody, you kind of form a bond with that person that is not easily broken. You kind of give yourself away, a little piece of yourself, every time you have sex. And that's a problem because most likely you're going to break up. In a relationship, there's only two options. You either break up or you get married. And as a teenager, the likelihood of you getting married is very slim. And if you do, the chances that you won't get a divorce is even slimmer. So, once you do break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, it's going to cause a lot of heartbreak because it's like you become one when you have sex, and then it's like ripping it apart and it's painful. Another thing, if you don't have sex, you don't have to worry about being tricked or used. A lot of guys will say whatever they have to say to get into your pants. They will be the perfect boyfriend. They'll have all their romance down pat. They'll buy you flowers. Who knows? And then once they get it, you know, they'll leave. That's happened to so many of my friends, and they don't understand why. Another thing about not having sex is you'll probably stay together longer. I know that's kind of like reverse thinking for today, but it's true that once you guys start having sex, the relationship life, the life of the relationship expectancy decreases because guys like a challenge, and if they get it from you too quickly, they'll just move on to somebody else. The other thing is, if the guy, the relationship won't last longer if he's just out for sex and you won't give it to him. So then he will break up with you and the relationship won't last longer, but then you're better off. I mean, why would you want to be with a guy that just wants you for sex anyway? So consider it a blessing to know, you know, here's an experiment. Tell your current boyfriend, I don't have sex with you, and see what happens. He'll either stay because he likes you for who you are, or he'll leave. So that tells you what kind of guy he is. The other thing about sex is the more you do it, the more you'll need it. You become more sexually frustrated when you don't get it. You think about it more, you need it more. So I know a lot of people who haven't had sex and it doesn't bother them that they're not doing it. They're like, whatever, doesn't bother me. You know, it's true. It's like addicting, kind of. It's like the more you do it, the more you gotta have it, like a crack addict or something. I don't know. As a girl, if you have sex and people hear about it, you get a bad reputation. I mean, it's kind of hypocritical because guys get props for having sex. They're like, oh yeah, you're the man. You know, you're a player. But if a girl does it, she's a slut. Even if you did it one time with someone she really cares about, guys are like, oh wow, she's easy. So, I mean, don't have your name dragged through the mud. Just don't do it. if you do have sex, there's a chance of getting an STD, like I said before. But what people don't think about is some STDs aren't curable, like herpes and other things. And if you do get an STD and you get married one day, how are you going to tell your spouse that? I mean, hopefully you tell them before you get married, but it's like when you're in the marriage bed, you're like, oh, by the way, I have herpes. Do you still want to have sex with me now? It's kind of awkward, and it could be a deal breaker. You know, some guys might not want to marry you if you have herpes. I mean, that's understandable. Oh, I don't know what's next. Oh. I've talked to a lot of guys about this to get a guy's perspective, and the one thing I learned that was kind of weird is when a guy's with a girl and they have sex, he's less likely to want to marry you because he wants his wife to be pure. So if you're having sex now, that means you're not pure, which is weird thinking and kind of hypocritical of guys because they'll just go have sex with whoever they want. But in the end, they eventually want their wife to be pure. So a lot of guys have told me that, and it's backwards thinking to me, but hey. Oh yeah, that brings me to my grandma's favorite saying. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but she always says, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? It's kind of like an analogy for why should a guy commit to you if he's already getting what he wants, you know, sex. It's like, why should that guy take that extra step of commitment, which guys are usually afraid of anyway, to get something he's already getting? Like, usually a girl wants a guy to commit first before they have sex. But if you give sex to him before you guys are committed, then why should he commit to you? It's like, to a guy that's completely backwards thinking, it's a deal for them. If you have sex before you're married, then there's nothing really to look forward to in a marriage. Everything would be exactly the same as it is now. Sex is a girl's token chip. It's like, they use it as like bribery, kind of. It's like, they kind of wave it over a guy's head to get them to do what they want. So if you don't have sex with a guy, you'd be like, marry me if you want to have sex with me. And that's how it was back in the old days. You know, back when my grandmother was, you know, a kid, people just didn't have sex before they were married. It just wasn't something you did. And lots of guys would marry a girl because they loved them, and also because they knew if they married them, they would get some nookie. And how many divorces were back then? Not many. As the time goes on, divorce rates are shooting up and up and up. And I believe that has something to do with, you know, sexual dissatisfaction and, you know, people just, it's just ridiculous. Society these days. Kids these days, you know. Yeah, use sex to lure a guy into commitment. It'll work. Or he'll just go to some other slut, he'll give it to him for free, but then you're better off because he's not a nice guy. And, that is all I have to say. For now. I'm gonna say goodbye soon. 1 second. I'm typing. Alright.
Hyvästi ihmisillä on suuri päivä.
You just learned something else. Congratulations. You just learned how to say goodbye, people. Have a great day. And now I am truly finished.